Hello friends! Welcome to Chapter Book Storytime, the Variety Pack. I'm Rachel from EVPL Central. Today we are going to be reading The Last Fallen Star by Graci Kim. I am someone who loves to see a book that the cover makes me ask questions, I want to know more about that world, and this cover did that for me. We have two children, it looks like on the front, and then what looks like a dragon and a flying horse, and I'm not even sure what this is over here, but I'm looking forward to finding out. So this book is based in Korean mythology, and we are going to follow Riley Oh, who was actually adopted into a family of Korean witches, but she unfortunately does not have any magic because she was not born in that family. And because this book is a fantasy book and it takes place in a culture outside of my own, there might be some words that I'm unfamiliar with because I'm not Korean or magic, so we'll see how that goes. I know it can be really confusing or frustrating whenever you find a word in a book that you're not familiar with, and that is okay. But we are just going to try our best to pronounce them and learn what those words mean together, because it's always fun to learn something new. Alright guys, let's get all cozy and ready to listen, and we will jump in to The Last Fallen Star. Chapter 1. My Family of Healing Witches. So here's the thing. There are only 2 days left until my sister's initiation ceremony. In just 2 sleeps, Hattie will turn 13, and she will have to prove to the entire congregation of gifted clans in Los Angeles that she has what it takes to become a real witch. A healing witch, a real gome. And she's gonna be amazeballs, of course. I mean, it's her birthright. Healing magic flows in her blood as it flows through our parents' blood, because we, the Gome clan, are descendants of the cave bear goddess, the patron goddess of service and sacrifice. Well, except me. Sigh. Yep. My own 13th birthday is only a month away, but unlike my Oma, that's my mom, or my Appa, that's my dad, or my sister, I'm a normal, non-gifted person without a lick of magic. I'm a Saram. I was adopted, and don't get me wrong, my parents try super hard to make me feel part of the gifted community, and I love them so much for it. But the truth is, the harder they try, the more I realize how much of an outsider I really am. I'm different. Hence why I'm here, sitting behind the reception desk of the traditional Korean medicine clinic that my parents run, doing mind-numbing data entry instead of practicing healing spells like my sister. Bells chime on the clinic door, and I jolt up in my chair as an old, dark-haired man limps in. He looks like he could be Korean, but I don't think I've ever seen him at temple. Welcome to the clinic, I say. How can I help you? Good morning, he says, wincing as he wobbles up to the desk. My name is Robert 𝑇ℎ𝑒. I've just moved here from New York, and I was told to ask for a James or Unha O. I think I've sprained my ankle. He slides his wrists together, and the water in his key, the cylindrical glass charm on his bracelet, sloshes a little as it rubs against his skin. An image of 2 suns and 2 moons appear on his right wrist with the motion, and the symbol glows green. Ah, he's a Toki, an infusing witch. All witches get the same gifted mark on their wrists when they do magic, but it reveals itself in different colors depending on which clan they belong to. The mark is also how we tell which patients are gifted and which are Saram. If they're Saram, we have to make sure that they don't know that we heal with magic. The infusers make special memory erasing potions for that. I know what you're thinking. Why would you keep such an awesome skill secret from the world? Well, Appa says if the Saram found out about the gifted clans, that would bring grave danger to our community. People don't like what they can't understand. It scares them, and scared people do foolish things. I guess that makes sense. You've come to the right place, I say, smiling brightly. James and Unha are my parents. And sorry to hear about your ankle, Mr. 𝑇ℎ𝑒. Appa has just finished up with a patient, and there's a free slot for you now if you'd like. Ah, you must be Hattie. He nods knowingly at me. I hear you have an initiation ceremony coming up. I hope you are well prepared. I shake my head. Hattie's actually my sister. I'm not, well, I can't. I trail off, and Mr. 𝑇ℎ𝑒 frowns. That's odd. They said the O's only had one daughter. Oof. The comet spears right through my chest, but I stay silent and put on a well-rehearsed fake smile. What I'd really like to do right now is take out my own gi bracelet, and if I had one, and heal his ankle right here and now to prove how much of an O I really am. Or at least stand up for myself and tell him I'm part of this family too. That's what Hattie would do if she were in my place. But I am not my sister. I'm not brave like she is. I prefer to keep my head down and stay out of trouble. Trust me, it's easier this way. A warm hand squeezes my shoulder, and I look back to see Appa standing behind me. I didn't hear him come in. I didn't hear him come to reception. This is Riley, most definitely our daughter, and most dedicated Gom I know. Appa beams at me and then extends his hand to Mr. 𝑇ℎ𝑒. Welcome to our humble clinic, Robert, and welcome to LA. Come with me and let's get that ankle looked at. Appa leads the hobbling Mr. 𝑇ℎ𝑒 down the hallway, and a stinging heat builds behind my eyes. Sigh, yet another day in the life of Riley O, the wannabe witch living in an exclusively gifted world. Riley! Hattie runs up to the reception desk, puts her elbows on it, and rests her chins in her palm. Her rounded cheeks are pink and hair is damp with sweat. Please come save me. Oma is driving me up the wall. She's making me repeat incantations 1 billion times, and I don't know what they mean anymore. I mean, honestly, what are words even? She just wants you to do well at the initiation. Hattie rolls her eyes, but she knows I'm right. A successful initiation ceremony is the most important rite of passage in a witch's life. She's got to perform 3 spells that satisfy the elders in the Gifted Clan's council, and then say her vows in front of the whole congregation at temple. That's hundreds of people from 5 different clans, not to mention our patron goddess, who will be watching from the god realm. Then, and only then, will Hattie get to wear her key around her wrist without adult supervision. Without it, she can't do any magic. So yeah, basically it is a big deal. I mean, no pressure or anything. Hattie fiddles with the earth-filled charm that's attached to a gold chain around her wrist. Oma usually keeps my sister's key in her enchanted safe, and Hattie only gets to wear it when she's practicing spells with our parents. Okay, but can you come with me anyway? Oma's all cranky and flustered, and I need moral support, please. I make a serious face and pretend to be preoccupied with patient database. I'm kind of busy. Pretty please? She gets in my face and makes big puppy dog eyes at me. You can have my favorite sweater, and I'll do your chores for a week. Come on, Rye, have a heart. I hold off as long as I can before laughing. Okay, you've twisted my arm. I push her sweaty mug away. Just wanted to see you beg. It looks good on you. You'll pay for that. She slaps me on the shoulder but grins, and then drags me out of my chair and down the hallway to Oma's consultation room. Oma is inside, pacing back and forth while holding the family spellbook up to her nose. Her glasses are foggy, and her black perm is bouncing like a halo around her head. Hattie, there you are! Now come back and practice the wound closing incantation again. She points her finger at a Korean word in her spellbook. And remember this time the P is aspirated. Don't be shy, put your whole diaphragm into it. Pa! Pa! See? Just like this. Pa! Hattie drags her palms down her cheek and gives me an exasperated look. I stifle a laugh. Oma is in fine form today. She pulls off the plugged into a power socket and rest is for the weak look better than anyone else I know. As Hattie reluctantly follows Oma's lead to aspirate her puzz, I study their 2 faces, and for the billionth time, I wish I looked more like them. I'm told my biological parents were of Korean descent too, but that's about where the similarities end. Where my Gom family are round and petite and unblemished, I'm tall and freckled. I'm all pointy chin and high cheekbones with more angles than curves. I'm the one people raise their eyebrows at when they look at family photos. Before I know it, my eyes are burning and I quickly wipe them, embarrassed. Ugh, classic me. This is what my best friend Emmett calls my leaky bladder eyeball problem. You see, I have a slight issue controlling my tears. When I'm sad, I cry. When I'm angry, I cry. When I'm frustrated, I cry. I'm basically really talented at crying. Hattie says it's a good thing that I'm in touch with my feelings, more like I'm drowning in them. And Oma and Appa say I'll grow out of it, but let's face it, compared to my confident and composed family, I'm flawed. It's yet another piece of evidence that I'm not a true O, that I'm weak and don't belong. Oma has now prompted Hattie to practice her vows, and my sister reluctantly obeys. I vow on the name of Malgohami, mother of the 3 realms, mother of the 6 goddesses, mother of mortal kind and all creation. Hattie's lisp is making an appearance, which only happens when she's tired or stressed. To carry out my sacred duty, to heal those in need, to uphold the Gom clan motto of service and sacrifice, and she trails off, forgetting the words, and I finish the sentence for her. And I understand that with my gift comes great responsibility to my clan, to the gifted community, and to our ancestor, the cave bear goddess, who blesses us with her divine power. I might not have a key or magic running through my veins, but I know my stuff. Hattie gives me a grateful look. Thanks, she mouths. She puts her hands on her hips. See, Oma, Riley is so much more ready for an initiation than I'll ever be. Have you spoken to Auntie Okta about Rai being allowed to do one too? I stick my hand in my pocket and squeeze my onyx stone to calm my nerves. It's shaped like a curved teardrop, and it's the only thing my biological parents left me. Hattie thinks it might be a family heirloom or something, but I just like how hard and real it feels in my hands. It's only a stone. It's not nearly as cool as a key. But sometimes I carry it with me because touching it reminds me that I come from somewhere too. Sorry, girls. Your Appa and I have been trying to find a good time to tell you, Oma sighs. Auntie Okja tried really hard, but the other elders won't budge. I lower my eyes, mostly to hide the new trickle of disappointment forming in my eyeline. My stupid leaky bladder eyeballs fail me again. Oh, that's okay, I say, even though that's far from the truth. Thank you for trying. Hattie raises her eyebrows at me. No, it's not okay. She turns to Oma. You and Appa are always pushing for more inclusivity in the gifted community. This is the perfect opportunity to make a statement, isn't it? Oma looks sheepish. You're absolutely right, but change takes time. Some of the clans aren't as progressive as we are. They're arguing that without a key, Riley wouldn't be able to cast the spells anyway. And if the council can't witness the spells during the initiation, they can't make a fair assessment. I shrink, but Hattie pushes back. But that's the whole point. Rai knows the words to all the healing spells back to front. If the council just gave her a chance to prove herself, maybe the goddess would be convinced and grant Rai a key too. She rolls her eyes. They've got it all backward. I understand, sweetheart. You know I do. But the other elders think it's asking too much of the god realm to bless us around with magic. That it would be impertinent of us, disrespectful even. Your auntie is only one voice among 5. Hattie raises her hands in exasperation, and I want to melt into the floor and disappear. I hate being the reason they argue. Seriously, it's okay. I start trying to calm my sister. What's disrespectful is not even giving Riley a chance, Hattie continues. If she takes the initiation and the cave bear goddess doesn't give her a key, then fine. Or if Riley doesn't want to, then that's also fine. But not giving her the freedom to choose, that is just wrong on so many levels. When Oma doesn't respond, Hattie squeezes my hand and a determined look appears upon her face. I called her boss face because no one in their right mind would mess with Hattie while she's wearing that expression. As soon as I'm old enough, she says, I'm going to run for Gome Elder, and when I do, mark my words, I'm going to shake up that place. The whole secret society thing is so outdated. I have no doubt you will achieve that and so much more, Oma says, and I totally agree. I mean, why stop at Council Elder? Hattie for president. I can see the enamel pins already. I squeeze Hattie's hand back and I feel a warmth spread through my chest. For everything I don't have, I definitely won the jackpot as far as my sister goes. She is literally the best sister ever. It's a shame you can't just do a spell to share your magic, I joke, trying to lighten the mood. When where the recipient doesn't need a key. That would solve all our problems. A grin spreads over Hattie's face. Crowdsourced magic. Now that would jolt the clans into the 21st century, right, Oma? We both look to Oma, and she laughs nervously. Hattie and I share a glance. Oma only laughs like that when she's hiding something. No way, Hattie says. There's actually a spell for sharing magic with a Saram, isn't there? My jaw falls to the ground. Impossible. Oma mumbles something under her breath, but still avoids our eyes, and that is a dead giveaway. It's not that simple, girls, she finally admits. It's dangerous, and even if it works, it wouldn't be permanent. The spell would have to be redone again and again. What's the name of the spell? Hattie interrupts. And where can we find it? And you were never going to tell me about it? I silently ask, my gut rolling into a tight knot. Oma closes the spell book in her hands with a decisive thud. This conversation has gone on long enough. She looks at the clock on the wall and gasps. Oh, we're going to be late for temple. Quick, go get your appa. We're leaving in 2. She hurries us out of her consultation room, and I get my butt moving. I wouldn't miss temple for anything. Right! Hattie stops me in my tracks and grabs my arm. Did you see Oma glance at the book when I asked her where we could find the spell? I shake my head. I hadn't noticed. I was too busy wondering why my parents had kept this from me when they knew how badly I want to become a witch. I know the book's only supposed to have healing spells in it, Hattie continues, but maybe Oma just told us that so we wouldn't snoop. Maybe the magic sharing spell is in there too. In fact, I'm sure it is. Where else could it be? I frown. We're not allowed to touch the family spell book, not until Oma and Appa deem us ready. And besides, breaking the rules makes me erupt in hives. But Hat, I start. You know I was joking before, right? Even if the spell is in there, I could never ask you to share your magic. Besides, Oma said it was dangerous. She wouldn't lie about something like that. She snorts. Who said I wanted your permission? Didn't you hear me drone on about choice before? If you want to share my magic with you, who are you to stop me? I stare at her, wondering what I ever did to deserve such a fearless sister. Hattie lowers her voice, and there's an excited twinkle in her eye. Looks like we need to get our sticky hands on a certain spell book, wouldn't you say? As she drags me to Appa's consultation room to fetch him, I hear a small voice in my head. Could I actually become a healing witch? A real Gome? Could it be that my chance to do my parents proud and prove to the gifted community that I belong? I know I shouldn't get my hopes up. It'd just be a recipe for disappointment. But here's the real crux of the problem, folks. I, Riley O, have a sweet tooth. And hope tastes sweeter than candy. Chapter 2. Saturday is Temple Day. H Mart is one of my favorite places in the world. I mean, it's hard not to love it. It's a grocery store full of the most delicious things. Every variety of kimchi you could ever dream of. Ice cream in the shape of watermelon wedges and corn cobs. And don't forget the little counter that says tornado fries. Basically an entire potato spiraled out and fried on a stick. Drool. But those aren't the only reasons I love this particular H Mart. It's also one of the secret entrances into the temple. The gifted community is really paranoid about their secret getting out into the surrounding population, so the Gumiho clan, they're the illusionists, use their glamour magic to hide us in plain sight. Genius, really. For example, right now, my family and I are walking through the refrigerated aisle of brightly colored milk drinks, past sweet potato cake stand, and toward the counter that sells Korean fried chicken. To the Saramai, the cherubic man at the counter might look like an ordinary chicken vendor, but those of us from the gifted clans know he's actually a Miru guard. The Miru clan are protectors descended from the water dragon goddess. They have either superhuman strength or speed, which make them ideal for protecting the secret portals and entrances. "Hi there, can I interest you in some K-Fry today?" he says brightly. In response, Oma and Appa each rub their wrists together and their key bracelets reveal their gifted marks. "These two are with us," Appa says, nodding at me. The mirror protector checks out the gold symbols on the parents' wrists, and he nods toward the swinging door to his left, which leads to the kitchen. "You may pass." We push through the door into the bustling kitchen and immediately smell the delicious waft of sweet and spicy fried chicken. But it doesn't last long. As we continue over to the walk-in fridge and step into its chilly belly, we are transported to the lobby of a grand building with high ceilings and marble floors. I come here every week, but the temple never ceases to take my breath away. At first glance, it looks like a super fancy hotel. The mirror guards protecting the lobby could pass as doormen, and there's always soothing music playing in the background. A sandalwood fragrance lingers in the air, like those signature perfumes that hotels have. But it's so much more than that. Once you jump into the elevators, you get a sense of the temple's true scale. There are 88 levels and so many rooms on each floor that no one can keep track of what's behind each door. Most of the rooms aren't accessible without the right keys, but Auntie Okja says some doors are portals to various gifted temples around the world, while others house mythical creatures visiting from the god realm. They say there's even a door that takes you to the spirit realm, the place we go where we die, which frankly blows my mind. "Hurry, girls," Oma urges, pushing us out of the elevator at level 88 towards the big bronze doors. "Mr. Pyo is going to make us pay for being late." And she's right. As soon as we enter the sanctuary through the heavy wooden doors carved with animal heads, Mr. Pyo's booming voice calls out, "Well, well, well. Good of you to join us, O family of the Gom clan. You've interrupted the service, but I'm sure you have a very important reason for being tardy. Please, why don't you find a seat while the punctual members of the congregation sit and wait?" We lower our heads and quickly sit in the Gom pews while hundreds of eyes follow our every move. "Absolutely mortifying," Oma mumbles under her breath. "Ugh, he's the worst," I whisper. "Agreed," Hattie and Appa echo. Mr. Pyo turns his attention back to the service, and I eventually get the nerve to raise my eyes from my lap and look around. The large hexagonal chamber is full to the brim today, with witches from the Gom clan, the Samjago clan, the Miru clan, the Gumiho clan, and the Toki clan, all sitting in their respective pews, which fan out from the center. Each block of pews ends with a polished bronze plaque brandishing the clan's motto beneath a tall statue of their patron goddess. The icons are made out of materials that match the clan's colors: jade for the Toki, blue lapis for Miru, gold for Gom, that kind of thing. Of course, the Harangi clan's pews are empty. The sixth clan hasn't been allowed a temple for years. As per custom, the 5 elders are standing in the raised center of the sanctuary next to the key cauldron, which is basically a large black urn with clawed feet. It has the symbol of 2 suns and 2 moons branded inside and is filled with sand from the beginning of time. Sticks of incense poke out from its top, reminding me of candles on a birthday cake. The elders are all wearing hanboks in their respective clan colors, including Auntie Okja, who's in gold. She's my mom's older sister and the Gom elder on the LA Council. I give her a small wave. When her eyes meet mine, she winks back in response. Now, as I was saying, Mr. Pyo continues. Today is not a normal Saturday service. It is a momentous day for my family and the entire Samjago clan, as my granddaughter Mira turns 100 days old today. The congregation claps enthusiastically, but my family all glance nervously at me. Let's be clear. I love going to temple. I really do. But one thing I hate about attending each week is the number of key ceremonies I have to endure. When a gifted child turns 100 days old, the key cauldron assesses the witch's elemental balance and forges her key. Parents then keep the key safe until the child is old enough to start training for her initiation ceremony on her 13th birthday. Auntie Oakjaw once explained it to me like this. The world has 5 sacred elements: wood, earth, water, fire, and metal. If a witch can harness the perfect balance of all 5, he or she can channel the power of the goddesses and wield the specific magic of their clan. The catch is that witches are born with only 4 internal elements, which is why they must wear the 5th element, the one they lack, around their wrist. A key is kind of like a car key. Each witch needs their 5th element to start their car, but the particular car that each clan drives, i.e. the type of magic each clan can do, is different. It's in their blood. For us, the Gom, it's healing. Mr. Pyo takes the baby Mira from her mom's arms and carries her toward the cauldron. I instinctively shrink into my velveteen pew cushion, wishing I could melt into its softness and disappear. Mago Halmi, mother of the 3 realms, mother of the 6 goddesses, mother of mortal kind and all creation, Mr. Pyo starts, holding Mira up in the air with both arms outstretched. Today, I humbly present you this child of the Samjago clan, descendant of the 3-legged crow goddess, for your divine blessing. The Samjago clan chants their motto, leadership and wisdom, while the 4 other elders take turns touching Mira's forehead with their activated gifted marks. Then Mr. Pierce steps toward the key cauldron and declares, Mago Halmi, let your will be known. The congregation goes silent, and for a moment, nothing happens. Immediately, my heart starts to race and my palms get sweaty. A deep rumble emanates from the cauldron, and I count to 10 under my breath as Mira's 1st element is revealed. Her dominant element is water, Mr. Pyo announces first, as a swirling tornado of liquid materializes above the cauldron, the symbol of abundance and grace. How fitting for a seer. Everyone cheers in approval. The water tornado disappears, giving way to a glowing seed that grows into a tree in front of our eyes. Her subdominant is wood, Mr. Pyo calls out, the symbol of compassion and growth. The cheering continues as the 3rd element reveals itself, a pyramid of solid bronze, shimmering as if it had been dipped in glitter, followed by metal, the symbol of strength and power. Mr. Pyo beams almost as bright as the pyramid. Finally, a blazing bonfire appears in the pyramid's place, levitating above the cauldron with its hungry flames. And finally, fire, the symbol of transformation and will. Mago Halmi has spoken. My eyes lock onto the fire. I want to look away, but I can't. And so, Mira's gi will be forged with earth, the element she does not possess. Mr. Pyo concludes, the symbol of fertility and life, the key to unlocking her perfect elemental balance. May Mago Halmi bless her future as a seeing witch. As the fire dissipates, a small glass charm of soft earth appears above the cauldron's mouth. It looks just like Hattie's key. The cylinder hovers expectantly in the air until Mr. Pyo carefully takes it in both hands and passes it to Mira's parents. I clutch my chest, and Hattie takes my hand and squeezes it hard. She knows exactly what I'm thinking about right now. My parents, being the progressive people they are, persuaded the elders to give me a key ceremony when I turned 100 days old. And I'm sure they meant well. It must have been a landmark occasion for the LA-based clans to see a Saram get blessed. Too bad it didn't go according to plan. The story goes that when the key cauldron was asked for my elemental balance, it sat in silence and idle for an impossibly long time. Eventually, it sputtered and wheezed as if it had swallowed a fireball. Then it delivered its final answer. First element, fire. Second element, fire. Third element, still fire. And fourth element, yep, you guessed it, fire. Then, instead of forging my key, the cauldron caught on fire, literally. The entire thing lit up like a Christmas tree at the Grove. The thing is, no one ever gets 2 of the same elements, let alone 4. That's just not how it works. So the council considered the mishap proof that the Saram couldn't be part of the community, and I was deemed a fiery freak of nature. Sigh. As you can imagine, that was the beginning of the end for me. Who cares about key ceremonies when we have a magic sharing spell to cast? Hattie whispers in my ear. Forget about then. We have the future to look forward to. I bite my lip. But what if sharing means you'll lose your power? I remember Oma said it was dangerous. Sometimes you gotta burn your fingers to enjoy the s'more. But it's different for me, I think. I love Hattie with all my heart, but she doesn't understand that things aren't as simple for me as they are for her. One false step and the council could ban me from temple altogether. Or, Mago forbid, what if they decide to wipe my memory with a strong dose of memory haze potion? There's a reason I keep my head down and my mouth shut. It is safer that way. Then again, seeing Mira get her key, and knowing Hattie's going to be initiated soon, it makes me wonder, if I don't take this chance now, will another chance ever come? Will I live the rest of my life regretting the one opportunity I had to fulfill my potential? It's probably a result of my burnt nerves, but after a moment, I give in to Hattie's enthusiasm. As the sweet taste of hope returns to my mouth, I whisper back, guess we have to figure out how to open Oma's safe then. Hattie's eyes light up so bright I can see my reflection in them. That's the smartest thing you've said in years. We both sit there pondering the mechanics of enchanted safes when Mr. Hong, the Miru Elder, begins making the community announcements. The first piece of news is that the date for the Gifted Library's grand reopening will be announced soon. The library has been closed for over 10 years, so it will be a massive celebration for the clans around the world. The second announcement is about an upcoming Saturday school trip to the Traveling Carnival. Saturday school is where kids go after temple service to learn more about the gifted clans and the God realm and stuff. Kind of like school for witches, but only once a week. As for the carnival, it's one of the highlights of the annual gifted calendar. Suddenly, I have an idea. Isn't Professor Ryu teaching Saturday school today? I whisper to Hattie. She ponders this for a second and then slaps me on the arm. I like how you think. Professor Ryu is one of those super liberal, ditch the lesson plans and let the students direct the learning type of teachers. And she claims there is no such thing as a bad question. She's also from the Toki clan, and kindness in heart isn't their motto for nothing. She's one of the nicest people we know, and probably our best way of finding out how to break the safe's enchantment. And for the final piece of community news, Mr. Hong continues, a cautious word of warning for our And for the final piece of news, Mr. Hong continues, a cautious word of warning for our loyal congregation. The other elders visibly tense, including Auntie Okja. Mr. Hong clears his throat a few times before speaking again. It has come to our attention that the Harangi clan has attempted to make contact with some members of the council. The temperature in the sanctuary and the hairs on my arm rise to attention. No way. The council has convened on the issue, and we suspect the excommunicated clan may be planning another attack on the community. We ask that everyone remain vigilant and take necessary precautions. If you see any of the scholars loitering around gifting property, report them. The council has convened on the issue, and we suspect the excommunicated clan of maybe planning another attack on the community. We ask that everyone remain vigilant and take necessary precautions. If you see any of the scholars loitering around gifted property, report them to us immediately. And if any try to make contact, it is imperative that you do not engage. They are dangerous and should not be approached. Nervous murmurs ripple down the pews, spreading out from the center of the room like lava from a volcano. Oma and Appa share a look of concern, and my eyes are immediately drawn to the empty benches in front of the red jasper statue of the mountain tiger goddess, the ex-patron of the Harangi clan. The scholars weren't always cursed. In fact, they used to be the upholders of knowledge and truth in the gifted community. They were the keepers of the sacred texts and the gifted library, and they were well respected, revered even. But then, almost 13 years ago, everything changed. Auntie Okja said that under the leadership of their new elder, Miss Kwan, the clan became obsessed with power. Miss Kwan claimed she'd figured out a way for witches to become as powerful as the goddesses, and that she would pursue it until the scholars became divine themselves. When the other 5 clans accused them of heresy, Miss Kwan led a Harangi attack against the gifted community. You were either with them or against them. Luckily, the scholars were stopped before a full war broke out, but not before a bunch of innocent witches were killed, including the Gome elder at the time, who happened to be my best friend Emmett's mom. Anyway, as punishment for their actions, the mountain tiger goddess disowned the Harangi clan and cursed them never to be able to wield her divine power again. And anyone seen colluding with the clan would be stripped of their own gift too. As you can imagine, the council had no choice but to banish them from the community. The scholars' lust for power had made them dangerous and ultimately led to their demise. Sad story, really. And on that rather somber note, I conclude today's service. Mr. Hung finishes, "May Malgo be with you this coming week." "May Malgo be with you," the congregation echoes in prayer. Soon the kids start to gather near the elevator to go to Saturday school, which is held in the building next door. Hattie runs to use the restroom, and I see Professor Ree's digital perm bobbing above the crowd of kids. My heart races. Our plan had better work. "Riley, do you have a moment?" I turn to see Auntie Okja standing there in her beautiful golden hanbok, and she looks as graceful and poised as ever. "Of course, Auntie O," I smile warmly. "What's up?" "I'm so sorry about your ceremony. I tried my best, but the council overruled me." She tucks a loose strand of my hair behind my ear, and I melt at the tender gesture. "You know I'm always looking out for you, right? Even if it might not always seem like it. I only want what's best for you." I nod and look at my feet. "I know, Auntie O." For a second, I want to spill the beans. I want to tell her our plan to steal Oma's spellbook and cast the magic sharing spell. Maybe she'd talk some sense into me, or perhaps she'd offer to help us. Like she said, she only wants the best for me. But the moment is broken when Mrs. Lee, the Toki elder, comes and ushers Auntie Okja away for some urgent council business. Excuse me. "By the way, I have some new plans for a diversity and inclusion campaign," she says to me before leaving. "Can I run them past you later?" "Of course," I say. "We'll look forward to it." "The only thing that you're going to look forward to is half of my magic," Hattie whispers, pulling me away to join the other students. "And yes, I know what you're thinking, and no, we are not asking Auntie O for help." I look away, hoping I can hide the guilt written in Mago-sized letters on my face. You'd think I was a book the way Hattie reads me. "But maybe she would," I try. Hattie snorts. Ugh. "Oh, you have so much to learn, young grasshopper. She's a council elder. There's no way she would help us if Oma won't." "If we want to do this, we're on our own." I frown so hard my eye twitches. "If the tables were turned, would you do the same for me?" She asks. "If the tables were turned, would you do the same for me?" she asks. "Without a doubt," I respond immediately. You know I would. Then it's settled, she says, grinning. We have ourselves an enchanted safe to crack. And I think that is where we are going to have to leave it today. If you are interested in finding out if Riley and Hattie's spell works, you can check out physical copies of this as well as ebooks and e-audiobooks on Hoopla. And sometimes I like to use audiobooks in cases like this where there are some unfamiliar words to me. It can kind of help me get through some of those pronunciation and a little bit of that confusion. So if you're like me and always kind of wonder if you're saying something right, that can be a helpful tool for you. And if you do want to get started on finishing up this book, you can start on chapter 3, which is called Even Witches Go to School. Alrighty guys, I will see you all next time. Thank you for joining me. Bye.